President Donald Trump took his first steps towards reshaping immigration enforcement today. President Trump signed executive orders calling for the construction of a U.S. Mexico border wall.
I just signed 2 executive orders that will save thousands of lives, millions of jobs, and billions of dollars. We are going to get the bad ones out. The criminals and the drug deals and gangs and gang members and cartel leaders. The day is over when they can stay in our country and wreak havoc. We are going to get them out, and we're going to get them out fast, and John Kelly is going to lead that way.
President Trump told the audience at the Department of Homeland Security the executive office and DHS are set to launch immediate construction of a border wall. His order also calls for the hiring of 5,000 more border officers and tripling the number of immigration and custom enforcement agents. Trump also called for establishing a specific office within Homeland Security to aid victims of illegal immigrant crime. 2 Arizona families that blame illegal immigration for the deaths of their loved ones met with President Trump today. Sergeant Brandon Mendoza was a Mesa police officer killed on the job. Grant Ronenbeck died in a holdup at a convenience store. Both were killed by a person in the country illegally, and their relatives have been part of the movement to crack down on the border.
Closer to the border, residents are sending mixed signals about today's announcement. A team of Cronkite News reporters traveled today from Phoenix to Nogales, Arizona, a primary point of entry along the Arizona-Mexico border. Cassidy McDonald joins us there live.
Nogales is one of the many southern Arizona communities that has been closely watching the efforts to build a new wall along the U.S. Mexico border. The community counts on good relations with Mexico as an important part of its economy. Now, with the official announcement, the mayor told me just a few moments ago that he's concerned about what impact a new wall will have and a new policy will have on the community.
Actually, there's a somber mood. It's something that a lot of the folks here had been hearing this question and or maybe action that was going to be taken. And so it doesn't come as a surprise, but as a disappointment. I think most of the people in the community were hoping he would shy away from the wall as far as, or hoping that the project of the wall just continues adding to the fence that's already there in place. Because there's some areas that need to be improved on and worked on. But a wall is not the answer for our safety or to keep terrorists out.
The mayor of Nogales isn't the only one expressing concern. We're gathering additional feedback to the president's executive order, and we'll bring that to you in the hours and days ahead here on Cronkite News. Live in Nogales, Arizona, this is Cassidy McDonald.
The Associated Press is reporting that the Mexican president is considering canceling a planned trip to Washington following Trump's border wall order. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey told a group of reporters today that he's not concerned about relationships with Mexico, but he's pleased about the renewed focus on the Mexican border and security.
I'm glad we're no longer being neglected by Washington, D.C., that our southern border counties are going to have some attention and some public safety.
But are you concerned about the message it sends? We export a lot of stuff to Mexico. Are you concerned about the message the wall sends?
I was in Mexico City 10 days ago talking with their Secretary of State and business leaders. I want to continue to have economic development and growth. This is about public safety, drug cartels, and human trafficking, getting criminal activity off the board. But that's what I want to do.
Back to business. You've been trying.
An exclusive Cronkite News Univision Dallas Morning News poll conducted in border towns last summer showed that the majority of those polled did not favor building a new wall. People who live in the region largely view themselves as one community, and the poll showed that the majority of residents believed in making it easier to cross back and forth across the border. The poll was the first of its kind in more than 15 years and reflects the attitudes of nearly 1,500 respondents in 14 U.S. and Mexican cities from California to Texas. 72% of respondents on the U.S. side and 86% of those interviewed on the Mexican side said they are opposed to building a wall, and many believe the current presidential campaign at the time was hurting the region. To check out the full multimedia investigation, Go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
President Trump also signed an executive order today on so-called sanctuary cities. He's stripping funding for communities which don't arrest or detain immigrants living in the U.S. illegally. Tomorrow, Cronkite News will take you to one California sanctuary city, which is deciding what to do next in the wake of the president's decision.